YouTube, what did YouTube? Back in the shack, Dre Day. I got an article coming from Fox News. The title is Soros-backed anti-police DA sparks outrage after showing up to a fallen officer's funeral. A George Soros-backed district attorney in Austin, Texas, who has drawn intense criticism over his persecution of police officers and his progressive sentencing reform agenda, sparked outrage from law enforcement after showing up at the funeral of a fallen Austin police officer and eventually leaving early, sources told Fox News Digital. Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza arrived at the funeral for Austin police officer and SWAT team member Jorge Pastor, who was shot and killed November 11th while responding to a call about a barricaded gunman holding three hostages. And multiple law enforcement sources say Garza left the funeral early after his presence sparked an outrage. When he walked in, when he came walking in, I thought, what what gall this man has to show up to a funeral for an officer killed in the line of duty when all he's done since he's been in office is go after cops. Funeral attendee Dennis Ferris, president of the Austin Police Retired Officers Association, told Fox News Digital. Garza's campaign for district attorney by promising to prosecute police officers, and he fulfilled that promise by indicting 19 officers involved in quelling a Black Lives Matter riot that the department previously exonerated, which his critics say was politically motivated. Garza also went through on a promise to indict Austin police officer Christopher Taylor, for murder in a move that critics call more evidence of anti-police bias. There's a photo of the fallen police officer, rest in peace, and to the left that's Garza, the district attorney. Garza has also faced criticism for his progressive policies and lenient sentences that victims of crime and their families have said make the city less safe. One law enforcement source told Fox News Digital that Garza came to the funeral and was asked to leave a room set aside for first responders because he was making people feel uncomfortable. And then he went to an area set aside for the mayor and city council where he was also not supposed to be. Another source said that after being told he was not welcome where he was, Garza was told he could watch the funeral in a room or on television, at which point he chose to leave. It is unclear if Garza was specifically asked to leave the venue at any time, but sources say he was asked to leave areas he never belonged in the first place and eventually left early. It was a slap in the face to every officer there seeing Garza at the funeral. Austin police officer at the funeral who wished to remain anonymous told Fox News Digital. Everyone I spoke to expressed anger, confusion, or both given his relationship, or lack thereof, with the law enforcement community. What's worse, it seemed as though Garza was genuinely confused as to why he was being asked to leave areas he didn't belong. As though he didn't understand all the problems he caused by unjustly indicting so many of the brothers and sisters, he should have just stayed home. Garza was backed by progressive billionaire George Soros' financial network during his campaign for office in 2020. Soros contributed $652,000 to the Texas Justice and Public Safety PAC in the months leading up to the 2020 Travis County DA election. According to the campaign financial reports, the same PAC spent almost $1 million on digital and advertisement to help Garza's campaign. from my perspective, he wasn't welcome, and the fact that either he was asked to leave or he chose to leave on his own, Ferris said. Whatever the case may be, I'm glad he left because he shouldn't have shown up in the first place. Garza's brief appearance at the funeral also sparked a flurry of reactions on social media from accounts that called out the district attorney for his previous actions. The most anti-police DA in Austin history was asked to leave a police funeral. These are just comments from X, formerly known as Twitter. And I believe there's a video speaking on the situation. Let's check it out.
Backed by George Soros, charged a man accused of killing a person in a DUI crash with a misdemeanor, and he was only sentenced to 10 days in jail. The Austin Police Association tweeting, "This is, quote, another example of Travis County prosecutors going easy on violent criminals. Victims' lives are marginalized. Where is the justice for the families and loved ones of the victim?" Dennis Harris is the president of the Austin Police Retired Officers Association and joins me now. Dennis, good morning to you. 10 days for a DUI that killed the passenger in the vehicle. Does that sound like an appropriate sentence to you?
I think Henry Ruggs, the receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, he's still in jail, if I'm not mistaken.
No, and actually when I first saw it, I thought it was a misprint. I thought it was 10 years, and then I realized it was 10 days. And that's unfathomable. I mean, he killed somebody driving drunk. He was originally charged with intoxication manslaughter. This was pled down to a misdemeanor DWI, and he was given 10 days in jail. And in all likelihood, he was out of jail before the trial was over. I mean, when the trial was over, he was out because he had probably given credit for time served.
So why the leniency for this guy?
This is what this DA does. He truly believes that people should get the minimum amount of time in jail for any crime they commit, as long as he thinks it's keeping Austin and Travis County safe, which the statistics are showing that's not happening.
Well, thankfully, this guy's getting deported, but, you just have to wonder how the victim's family feels. She was 19 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her. Her name is Teresa Gonzalez. How do you think her family feels about a 10-day sentence?
Well, I can tell you that one of the worst things you can ever do as a police officer is give a family a death notification. So I can't imagine how this family feels having now been victimized twice. So they were told initially when she passed away, they were given that information, and then to find out that the person who did this basically got no punishment whatsoever. And even though he's being deported, that doesn't mean he's not going to be right back in the state of Texas within days after being deported.
That's such a great point. And this Travis County DA, his name is Jose Garza. He ran on a criminal justice reform platform. Like we said, his campaign was backed by George Soros. What are some other examples of him being lenient on criminals?
Well, he low bail, low or no bail at all for even some of the most horrible crimes that you can imagine: murder, rape. He's pled out a first-degree murder case to 15 years in jail for first-degree murder. It's on and on. We've got cases where officers are making arrests, booking people into jail, and there's an assistant district attorney looking at their affidavits and deciding, we're not going to prosecute these people, releasing them while the officers are still writing their reports. This DA doesn't believe in prosecuting drug crimes.
Yeah, wow.
So what we've got in Austin now is we got a problem where our homicide rate for the third year in a row is going to be at record levels.
You know what, I was just going to ask you what crime is like under his leadership. You just answered that very question. And Dennis, we've been talking about these soft on crime policies for so long and how it's unfair to the victims and it leads to more crime. And yet people like this DA still feel like they're doing the right thing. Why do you think that is?
Because they're true believers. They truly believe what they're doing is right. Whether or not statistics show it's not, that's just what they believe. And what people don't realize about this particular DA is he never prosecuted a crime prior to becoming the district attorney. So the people in Travis County elected a guy with no experience as a prosecutor to be the lead prosecutor for felony cases. And subsequently, we've lost most of our veteran prosecutors that were in his office. So now you've got very, very little experience prosecuting these cases, and that's why they're pleading a lot of these things out.
And it's not just Travis County, it's a trend that we're seeing across the country. Dennis Ferris, thank you for joining us this morning.
There's that, and I was gonna say about the drugs being decriminalized. I know marijuana should have been decriminalized a long time ago, but I want to say in some states it's still a class or a Schedule A drug felony, up there with what is it, opioids. But yeah, I feel sorry for the girl's family, man. 19, and the dude's out in 10 days. I know maybe about a decade ago, one of our police chiefs were killed by, or his daughter was killed by a drunk driver. And when that happened, I thought they was about to throw the books at people with DUI arrests, but somehow it didn't happen. But I don't know. Y'all have a good one, Daily Output. I'm Dre.